Good morning, everyone, and welcome to UCD's live video here today, where I am talking to one of our current undergraduate students, Noura Al Harmoudi. And my name is Tiernan. I'm the Senior Regional Manager for the Middle East, North Africa, and Asia Pacific. And the purpose of today's video really is to give you an insight into what it's like to be a current student in these extraordinary times. So Noura, thanks so much for being here with me today. To start with, could you introduce yourself, please?
Yeah, hi everyone. My name is Noura. I'm a second year student at UCD and I do classics, English, and history.
Thanks, Noura. And Noura, I suppose before we start talking about the current situation, I am thinking about when you were applying to UCD and when you were thinking about coming to Dublin for your studies. And I know there was a number of courses you were interested in before you began your current program. Can you think back to that time a couple of years ago and tell us what your thought process was, or what you went through at that time?
Well, it was a very long journey. Well, actually, no, it wasn't actually very long. It was long in a good way because it seemed like the possibilities were genuinely endless in the sense that I didn't know you could apply multiple times. UCD was the only university I applied to that you could apply to multiple majors. So I remember like there was this page with all the majors down. I just kept scrolling and I was like, oh my God, what am I gonna do? And when I first applied, my first instinct was to be like social science. I remember that's the only thing I wanted to do. I had my mind on that in school and I was like, I'm gonna do that. But then I saw English literature and I saw like classics and I saw history and I just felt so tempted. And then I was obviously like talking to my mom and letting her know. She's like, go for it. Like you can apply. Like why not apply? You don't have to make a decision now, you know? So I kind of went crazy. I applied for English literature at first, but then I saw classics, English, and history and I was like, why only do one when you can have like all three? So I applied to that, but then I also applied to social sciences and I think I contemplated archaeology as well. But I ended up getting or not rejected for sociology because I didn't do the right math for it. And I remember being really sort of bummed because it's like, that's what I really wanted to do. And I was like, okay, this is going to be a change. But then I ended up choosing classics, English, and history. And I'm genuinely not kidding. I think that was the best thing that could have happened then. Like, I am very thankful that I didn't do the right math level for me to be doing this major. So very, very happy right now. I'm very thankful for that. But yeah.
It's so good to hear. I think your passion for the course really comes across whenever you talk about it. So I'm glad that you ended up in the program that is best suited to you. Could you maybe tell us maybe one of your favorite things or one of your favorite experiences about studying at UCD or your program or life on campus so far?
Yeah, obviously being like an international student, especially, it was very nerve-wracking at first because I was for the first time in my life alone in a foreign country. I had my mom with me there for the first few weeks to settle in and such, but then after that it was like, okay. But then like I feel like when I say this, I sound like I'm generally sugarcoating it, but I'm not. Like the community with I don't know if it's like my course, but generally like all the people that I've met at uni have been nothing but so kind, like genuinely so kind and welcoming. And I felt very thankful that I had, because my course was generally quite small, I believe. I think in like definitely the 20s or probably 30s even, I would say, but we're so small that it was kind of easy to integrate into and just find a group of friends that all knew each other and they just accepted me with open arms. And the professors have been like nothing but kind and like understanding, and I genuinely enjoy what I study. And so I think I'm very thankful. And campus life has been very good because the stress of like, you know, commuting to college, I've seen like my friends, and you know, sometimes it's not the easiest thing, but they still do it. And you know, living on campus, it's different, but it's good, especially with like res life activities and such, you know. You definitely do feel included, and it's great. It's honestly great.
That's really great to hear. And you know, I think that sense of community is so important all of the time, but you know, especially during at the moment in this kind of global health crisis. You know, I think all of the communities that we're a part of make a huge difference to staying safe and staying sane. And I suppose that does bring me to think about and to talk to you about the current situation. So I know from mid-March, UCD's courses all went online as soon as the university was required to close. We switched all of our teaching to online and virtual teaching. What's that experience been like for you, Laura?
Well, it was definitely hard to get used to at first. I think the automatic transition, no one was really expecting it at all. And it's like every time you try to like grasp the idea, it never really sinks in. And when it does, you're like, oh my God. And I think that was me on my way home, realizing like, how am I like, gonna cope with everything? Because it sounds easy. We're just gonna switch online. Everything's gonna, like you try to tell yourself it's gonna be okay, but then you get home and it's like your entire environment is different, and you're kind of trapped at home either way because you can't really leave, and it's like constant like cycle of like, okay. But then you start getting used to it and you start building like your own schedule and your own like program for yourself, and then I think that's kind of the key to everything kind of making more sense and you feeling like, okay, I can do this. And I think especially since most of my lectures and like some seminars are pre-recorded, that definitely does make it slightly easier because again, time zones and like the stress of, trying to find a place like, oh my God, like my professor's gonna see me or something, And yeah, I just think if you find a schedule that genuinely like suits you and you understand that professors and your other students like that you're with, they understand exactly what you're going through. Like everyone is going through this, it's not just you. And I think that really helps like so much, like a lot. And I know all the students, like we sort of lean on each other, and I think that makes everything a lot more easier.
That's good to hear. And I'm glad to hear you. So you've mentioned other students, so you're managing to keep in touch with people and keep that sense of community going at the moment.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's great, and it's definitely it's something we're all facing. Is managing to keep those communities going online. So I'm glad to hear about that. And I'm also interested to hear what you've said about scheduling and the importance of routine, which is a really good way to keep your work going at the moment. And I'm conscious that Ramadan is starting tomorrow. So Ramadan Kareem to anyone who is observing Ramadan. Have you had any thoughts about how you're going to manage your workload in the Ramadan period? And I don't think we mentioned already, but you're home in the UAE during this crisis. So affect how you can participate in your studies.
Yeah. Again, I think everything is because most of my things are pre-recorded, so my situation's automatically slightly easier than someone else's, but still, I think in Ramadan everything sort of switches. Like most teenagers, like I said, like they sleep in the morning, and then and nighttime is like prime time, and I think just managing that schedule a little bit and time management. It sounds very, time, everyone says that time management is like key, but it genuinely is, and you take it a step at a time, and you just scheduling is like, and I think having a own study environment, especially for me, is very like it's very important. Like my desk is, I know when I sit here it's like work time. I never like to do work in the living room or with my family or anything, because I sort of still want to keep that sort of separation going to motivate me a little bit more. And I think that's a little bit of separation between school and family time is sort of important for you to have that mindset of like college time, free time, relaxation time. And I think just keeping that up with Ramadan, especially, the kind of like essence of Ramadan is like family and coming together and just like having, breaking your fast together and stuff. So I think I'll get to enjoy that a lot more when you've just calmed down, you finished your work for the day or such, and just do that. So I think just again, tweaking your schedule to fit that. So.
It's a good takeaway. I'm even feeling compelled myself now to think about my scheduling and that distinction, I think, between work-life balance. It's really important to keep that going at the moment. So thank you for that reminder. I'm going to take that one home for myself. So so good to hear things are fine for now. And I really do appreciate you taking the time to chat with me. And we're going to put this on the websites really to help those students who are either offer holders or prospective students and who are thinking about coming to study in September. If you had any advice, if you could talk to yourself 2.5 years ago, or if you had any advice for students who are currently thinking about coming to UCD or coming to Ireland in September, what would you give them?
It's not gonna be easy. You are, moving to a new environment, you are adapting to a new place, but I can tell you that it's worth it. It's genuinely worth it at the end. And I think even more than just the degree, you gain so much more like cultural like understanding, and you meet so many new people that you like, and it's a whole new experience, and it's one that I don't think you should miss out on. So I definitely do recommend it.
It's really great to hear. Well, I suppose just to say thank you, really, Nora. Good luck with the rest of your studies.
Thank you.
Touch, of course, as we go through this current situation, this current crisis, keep in touch with us, and we might check back with you at some stage and see how Ramadan is going. But thank you very, very much for your time.
Of course. Thank you so much.